go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to WABAN, the movie and TV show podcast where an expert on the subject discusses things with an average viewer. I am your host, Nim, and I am joined by the year 2021, personified as a human.
What am I just gonna start fist fights or go out without a mask?
Start fist fights.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you gotta.
Not the best year, I have to say, but
it
went.
It came and went. I think for me personally, it was an okay year. As a whole, for just everyone in general, just the world in general, it's kind of a crazy year. But
yeah.
For me personally in my own life, it was pretty all right, I think.
I mean, probably for me, first half probably pretty terrible. Second half gotten better. It's gotten better.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Especially with this podcast started. That has improved our lives immensely.
Yeah. I was thinking more of taking a break from college and not having that on my shoulders, but that works too.
There's actually one big thing that happened in the year that's kind of a negative thing, but I don't want to get into that. So, I don't want to get too much into personal information. So, but overall, as far as generally in my life, I think I've learned a lot as far as video production goes. I got a new camera and practiced a lot with it in this year, and got to know it better. And I know how to do basic color correction, which is something I did not know how to do a year ago. So,
wow, look at you.
Yeah. And, I got a few work opportunities that I didn't have at the beginning of the year that haven't happened yet, but are, basically I'll be working on certain production in the future. Hopefully this next summer. I don't really know if I'm able to say anything about it, but maybe we'll see. But anyways, it's a small production thing, small production company trying to produce a show, but it's, still exciting.
Yeah, you're doing a thing.
I'm doing a thing, exactly. So, yeah. But, yeah, so overall, I think it was a okay year for myself, I guess.
It went at least. Ups and downs, but it's gone.
Well, me and my girlfriend have been together for 3 years now, so we're still together, going strong. So
Yep, you at 23 speedrunning your relationship?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, yeah, if I was speedrunning it, we would already be married.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because we've been dating for 3 years and we're not even engaged yet. So if I was speedrunning, it'd be dating for a month, propose, a month later, get married, 9 months after that, have our first kid. If it was a speed run.
Okay, and how about just faster than average?
Well, I guess it's more or less, it's not really speed running, it's more or less getting an early start.
Yeah, that's
right, because Right, because I started dating the person that I would consider the love of my life at the age of 19.
Yeah, that's pretty damn early.
Right. So, and she was 18, so it's pretty early for both of us. But, yeah, so I guess that's, yeah. And then let's see, did you have a good Christmas?
I had, honestly, a pretty damn good Christmas, not gonna lie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I have my desk now. First podcast at a desk.
For those who don't know, the entire podcast has been you just on a bed.
Yeah. Either on a bed or once I got my chair, just laptop in my lap, lounging on the chair.
Yeah.
Now I am professional.
Yes.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
I can do that now.
Yeah, because you actually have a wood desk.
Yeah, it's nice.
That is nice. Yeah, I think I had a pretty good Christmas. Some family came over and we did a lot. I got
Yeah,
I always have
Mario
a decent
party at our house.
Yeah. I mean, it's an average Christmas. It's not like anything special. I mean, my family watched Die Hard on Christmas Day, and it's funny because I had already seen Die Hard like earlier that week because we did it for the podcast. So it was like saw Die Hard twice in a week, which that's fine by me because it's great. Still confused about how Carl survived, but so is everyone.
Damn Carl and his immortality.
Yeah, exactly. But, anyways, I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. This will be coming out on January 1st, so the start of the year 2022. So hopefully 2022 becomes a good year. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
Less disease and more, I don't know, more relaxation, casualness? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping it's a good year for me, at least. Well, obviously anyone is. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I mean, not formally, but like I have a few things that I've just wanted to do, and New Year's has nothing to do with them.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. Now that I have a desk, I like a workspace away from rest space, which is going to help me with like motivation a lot.
That's
like
good.
I can already tell these past few days. But
yes.
I think to try to help that further, I'm going to stop like just trying to force myself to do things and actually find things that I want to do that are productive.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to actually trick myself into doing work instead of just forcing it when it doesn't want to work. Yeah.
That's always a difficult balance to find, I think. Definitely. Yeah. I can agree with that because, makes it like, should I be working on writing a script for this Zuko video that I've been working on for almost a year now? Or should I not? I don't know.
Or like play Minecraft.
Or play Minecraft. Or play Cuphead. I've been doing that too.
Oh yeah.
I'm 53% done. No, 54%, I think is what it says. Yeah.
And it has like about you being bad at video games. You're getting there.
Yeah, I know.
You're becoming a gamer.
Yep, it's getting there.
It's trying to believe.
But I don't know if I have any specific resolutions. I guess one of the main things for me is going to be just kind of trying to, one of the big ones was my YouTube channel and actually, making videos for it. So my general idea is I want to try to, in the year 2022, my goal is to upload at least one video each month. So at least one in January, one in, each month I want to do at least one video, maybe more in some months here and there, but at least one. We'll see how that goes by next year. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, that's generally it. I just uploaded a video, first video I've uploaded on my channel in a while that isn't the podcast, which is me looking back at the first short film I ever made, which was a Christmas short film that came out 4 years ago on Christmas Day. I uploaded the video of me looking at it and watching it and analyzing it on Christmas Day as well. So you can check that out if you want. It's kind of me just sharing my, what I would do differently if I did it now, because I've learned and a lot more, and I know a lot more about just video production in general now.
Did it turn out good?
I think the video turned out good. I mean, it's like 45 minutes long, but for me looking at like a 6 or 7 minute short film, but the recording was an hour and like 20 minutes long, so I cut it down quite a bit.
Yeah, okay. Just talking about what you said, 7-minute video?
Yes, essentially, yes.
Wow. I mean, I know that there's a lot that goes into video production, but like that seems like a lot.
Yeah, but whatever. It's okay. So yeah, that's kind of my big resolution. I guess another one would be just to do more video production work. Like I said, I already should hopefully be doing this like show that I had mentioned in the summer, but like actually trying to really look towards, by the end of the year, I want to really be hardcore looking towards getting a job somewhere, like a more permanent job somewhere else, and actually moving out closer to the place I actually want to live. So that's kind of a big thing. That would be closer to the end of the year that I would really start doing that, because this production I'm working on in the summer is in the area I live in now, so I want to stay here at least for that. But yeah, so that's kind of a few of the big things. Let's get into the main thing we're doing in this video, this podcast.
All right.
Let's cut the foreplay and get into it.
Just drop that on me, why don't you?
All right. So, yeah, we spent 11 minutes talking about nothing, pretty much, you know. So we decided it would be fun for a New Year's special to both do our own individual rankings of all of the shows we talked about in 2022 or 2021. Oh my gosh. And the movies we talked about in 2021, and then kind of go through our own rankings and kind of try to guess each other's rankings. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I think we're going to start with the TV shows, because that'll be, you know, a nice way to ease our way into it, because that's going to be much easier because there's only 3.
Yeah.
So we started the podcast in March, correct? March, yes. So this is everything since let's see, the first episode was uploaded. I'm checking right now just to see, because I don't remember the exact date. March 13th, 2021. So that is our first podcast. I can't believe we're on like 40. This is 43 or now. Like it's crazy that we've been doing it that long. But yeah, so since then, in those 43 episodes, we have talked about 3 TV shows in depth and 17 movies. Well, technically more movies, because Lord of the Rings was, when we talked about Lord of the Rings, that was obviously 3 movies, and then we talked about Terminator 1 and 2 in one episode, but 17. So I guess technically that would make it 17, 18, 19, plus 20 movies.
Yeah.
Technically, but we have 17 rankings, because Terminator 1 and 2 is on the same spot on our list.
And so is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy is on the same spot on the list, yeah. So, we'll start with the TV shows. So the 3 TV shows we watched were Avatar: The Last Airbender. The second one we did was BoJack Horseman. And the third one is Death Note. So, I guess to start off, do you want to guess my ranking? You could just say what you think all 3 is. We're not going to go one by one, just because it's only 3, so it'll be easier to...
Honestly, I think it is coincidentally in chronological order. Avatar number 1, then BoJack, then Death Note for you.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty easy. Yeah, So for me, it's like, so I love BoJack. Has always been one of my favorite shows ever since I first watched it, and technically, I have a longer history with BoJack than I even do with Avatar. Like, I watched BoJack even before I watched Avatar. But the thing that does it for like Avatar for me is like, Avatar I think does a lot more things better. Whereas like Avatar has so many different elements that work well together and are balanced. Right. Like it handles. It has really good action. It has some good comedy. It has a good story. It has great characters, great character relationships. I think Avatar is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen at handling like character relationships and like seeing that develop.
There's really nothing that it falls short on. Yeah,
the only thing that I don't think is amazing is like Avatar's like romantic relationships, but they're not really bad. They're just kind of average to me, But when I say they're great at character relationships, I'm mostly talking about just general platonic, like you get a real good sense of like characters' relationships with each other. Like you get a really good sense of like Aang has a very different relationship to Toph than like Sokka does to Toph, or like, you know, just general. And it has one of my favorite character relationships of all time, which is, you can probably guess what I'm about to say.
Zuko
and Iroh. Yeah. Zuko and Iroh's relationship.
I knew it was Zuko, I just didn't know the other person.
Well, and that's another thing about the show. It has one of the best redemption arcs of all time.
Yeah.
I think.
You're going to make a 3-part video about it, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm planning on it. Those might be some of the first videos I do in 2022. So I might finally actually do that thing that I've been planning on doing for a while. But yeah, I think, and then also like Avatar, if you compare Avatar to like BoJack, for instance, Avatar is something that appeals to everyone, I think, of all ages, adults, kids alike, whereas BoJack, you know, is not for kids. At all. No. Even if you were okay with your kids seeing the more adult content, like the kids wouldn't probably enjoy it anyways. They probably wouldn't get it, and like
I mean, it's slathered with drug use and depression and anxiety, and
I think
an entire episode dedicated to abortion.
Which is not to say that that's like a knock on the show. Like the show it's not meant for kids, obviously.
Right.
But it almost kind of makes Avatar to me feel like a better show in a way, just because it's like it appeals to everyone almost. You know, like everyone can find something to love about it. Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to like for instance, like Avatar has good comedy, but I wouldn't consider it the funniest. Like if I had to choose like the funniest show ever, I would probably choose something like, I don't know, like The Office has probably made me laugh more than Avatar, or like whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not its focus, but it does have good comedy in it.
Right, exactly. But it's my favorite show of all time because it's more of an overall package.
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, that was a long rant that I probably didn't need to go on.
It's fine.
It's fine. But yeah, and Death Note I really liked, but it's not like, you know, Death Note wouldn't be like top 5 favorite shows of all time, whereas like BoJack and Avatar both easily would be for me. So
yeah, Death Note's one of those things that it does one thing extremely well.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you get out of that one thing, it's just, it's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I guess I'll guess yours now.
Sure.
So I'm going to say Avatar's number 1. I'm going to say Death Note's number 2 and BoJack is at the bottom just because BoJack is so depressing.
Yep, that's exactly that reason. BoJack, I can acknowledge it's a great show. It does a lot of things very well. I can understand why you like it, but just it is draining to watch for me because it just hits so hard sometimes every once in a while.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think choosing I think going with the TV shows was pretty easy to guess.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's only 3, so it's pretty easy. Like, yeah.
And I pretty much agree with everything you said about Death Note and Avatar, because it was kind of hard of a decision. Like maybe Death Note would be better, but honestly, Avatar is something that I could keep rewatching every once in a while. Death Note, probably not. Death Note, you need to like forget what all the little tricks are that he does, and then you can rewatch it.
It's like, because I mean, I watched Avatar for the first time just over a year ago.
And what are you on, 6th, 5th?
And I've watched it 7 times now.
7, okay.
So, whereas like Death Note, I do want to rewatch at some point, but it's not something I'm like dying. I'm like dying to rewatch all the time, and it's, you know.
Right.
But, you know, I would rewatch it. I do like it, but it's, And again, it's like Death Note is one, like you said, it's something where it does one thing very well, whereas Avatar is something that does multiple different things very well and balances it very well. You know, Avatar is all about balance. I mean, that is actually a big theme in the show, too. Like, bring balance to the world. And the show is really good at balancing all of its elements. So it's all about balance.
The creators of the show followed the show's advice. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that was the shows. I guess we should probably get into the movies because that might take a little bit.
Do we just want to say the first one, like number 17 at the same time?
Here's the thing. The bottom two for both of us, we know for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's no question.
Last Airbender and Death Note, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, start. You tell me which one you think is the bottom for me.
It's definitely The Last Airbender, right?
Yeah, easily.
No question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you are correct. I believe out of the two, The Last Airbender is worse for you as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I was a little iffy on it, but then at the same time I was like, okay, I think I remember when we were talking about Death Note, there were a few things that we were like, oh, it had some interesting idea. It failed at them, but
I mean, okay, they're both like live action adaptations, right?
Of animated shows, yeah.
Right. But The Last Airbender does practically nothing right. Well, Death Note's like, yeah, if they messed with this a little bit and refined it a bit, there is a good movie somewhere in there.
Yeah, they have to change a lot. There's some ideas that are interesting. Right. They just don't do anything interesting with those ideas and make a terrible, awful movie with it. But yeah. There's I can agree with that. So do you want to guess? So yeah, those are the bottom. I don't know if we need to get into it much more than that. I mean, we talked about them a lot when we actually talked about them. So next, there's definitely a few movies that are more in the middle for me. Let me find my ranking again to remember what. Okay, that's what I put. Okay, so what do you think is the
number 15?
Number 15 on my list.
Never mind. I don't think any of the rest are bad, but there are a few that are just kind of meh. And I think the most meh out of any of them is Jumper.
Yes, you are correct. That is my number 15. I'm going to say the same for you because...
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
It's...
All right.
It has a decent idea. It just doesn't do anything very well.
Yeah, it's a very average movie. It's an average action movie, it's a very it's that movie is like the definition of like a 5 out of 10, where it's like it's okay. I really liked the one character, the one was he Irish or something? Irish?
Oh, the bad jumper that messed with him.
Yeah. He was probably the best character in the movie. It is kind of fun to see a movie with Hayden Christensen that's not Star Wars too. It's kind of fun to see just something else he's done,
Right, instead of the one thing that he's known for.
Yeah, exactly. So it is kind of fun, to see that. But yeah, it's pretty mediocre for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Overall,
the next one might
keep in mind, guys. If we don't get into enough detail, we don't let's say we talk about one and we don't get in enough detail about our actual thoughts on something in this video, you can always go back and watch the podcast if there's a specific one you want to hear us talk more in detail about or whatever, because we talked in very big detail about every single one of these in the past year. So definitely go check that out if you want to hear more details on opinions about any specific one. All right, anyways. Next, number 14.
This is where it will get a little bit tricky.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get tricky, right?
Yeah, this is the first tier. So, there's this one. I honestly can't really consider it a bad movie, right? And it's not even meh, it's just weird.
I know what you're talking about.
House, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's number 14 for me because I was very much debating on where to put it because I was like, I kind of want to say it's a bad movie. It's one of those movies where it's like, is it a bad movie or is it a good movie? I don't really know. It's just weird.
Just weird.
So I almost put it, I was like, okay, I put it just above Jumper simply because it's more entertaining than Jumper.
Yeah, I get
you know. So, because like, technically speaking, from like an editing and just pacing, general filmmaking standpoint, Jumper might technically be better. Just because, generally Jumper is like well made from like a filming and editing standpoint, all that kind of stuff. It's fine, average, whatever. But it's also not as interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Not as entertaining, yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's the difference between watching a guy walk down the street. That's whatever. It's mediocre. It's not bad. And the difference between watching a live train wreck, like one is a lot better than the other, but the other is a lot more interesting.
More interesting to watch. Yeah. One is absolutely terrible, but you can't look away.
That's very entertaining.
Right, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to guess for 14. I'm going to guess the same for you, I think.
Yeah. I just can't disagree with anything that you said. Like,
yeah, because
everything past this point is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think every movie we've watched past this point, past the bottom 4, are all like in good territory, are all in like 7 out of 10 or above territory. And this is where it got really hard for me to decide where to put things.
Yeah, I keep looking over my list. I'm just like, maybe I'll switch these to Nats too.
Yeah,
now. This
exactly.
is good enough.
Yeah. So keep in mind that some of these are very close. So this isn't like a definitive, like, this is exactly. Some of these I might even think about switching as time goes on, but whatever. This is the list we end up going with. So what do you think is my number? What's next? 13 spot.
Oh, let's see here.
Yeah, this is where it gets difficult.
Yeah. So, like, there's a few that we both know are really good, that we know we can wait for those. But perhaps... Oh, I'm gonna get this wrong.
Just go with it.
Let's go with Evil Dead 2.
No. No. So what I went with for this spot is actually Zodiac.
Oh, okay.
Which seems interesting because Zodiac is a very good movie, very well-made movie. But overall, as far as like... It's a movie that I don't really have much desire to see again. I don't know. To me, it was a very like plot-wise, it felt very okay, average to me. Like there was nothing special about, like, really special that jumped out at me for as far as the plot goes. It's a really good movie. And it was definitely hard to put it in this spot because it is a really good movie. But at the end of the day, it's a movie that I don't think I have like. I would watch it again. It's not that I wouldn't, but like I don't have like an extreme desire to like see it again.
Right. I get what you mean.
Because it's overall it's a pretty straightforward plot. They definitely do some interesting things with it, but it's and all the performances are good. Every aspect of the movie is good and well made. It's just from an entertainment standpoint, I think a lot of the other ones are higher for me. So,
yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to guess for you, which, let's see. There's some of these that are like definitely not, that I'm definite that aren't. Yeah, this is hard. Okay, no, I got it. I'm going to guess The Thing for number 13.
No,
it's not The Thing. Okay, because I felt like I know you really liked that movie, but I felt like from a horror standpoint, you didn't really care about horror as much, so I thought maybe.
I mean, I shouldn't give you hints, but like you know me pretty well that you're not quite that far off. But 13 is in fact Whiplash for me.
Oh, see, that was another one I was gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say Whiplash because I knew, like, I absolutely love Whiplash, but I knew you were not as enthralled by it as I was.
It's such a like first of all, I'm pretty damn distant between like the music stuff, so I assume a lot of the things, if you have a high understanding of music, there's a lot of little details that you can pick up on, but that all goes over my head. And then it is such a like stressful movie to watch, and I do believe you made me watch it during finals week.
Oh, that's right.
So
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I don't have the best memories of it.
Ew. Hold on, I'm adjusting some things on my list for just a second here. No, wait, what? No, what am I doing? Oh. Just trying to, I think this is what I want to do. Because I just looked at my list and I'm like, oh, I gotta change something because, I should probably, yeah, we're gonna put that down here. Wow. Boom. Okay. I don't want to. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I don't like that that's that low on the list, but it's fine. I'll leave it. Like I said, it's very hard to choose between these. Okay. Anyways, so that was number 13. Yes, 13.
Yep.
So
going on to number 12.
Number 12. What do you think?
I'll go with what I wanted to say was number 13, which was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yes, that's number 12.
Hell yeah.
For me. Yeah, I think it's a good movie overall. I mean, especially the final act of the movie, like the finale is a great finale. That like final showdown is great. But I feel like a lot of the movie was like good, but it was like not, I don't know, as great as I would expect it to be.
It's an obvious classic.
Yeah.
But it hasn't aged quite as well as it could have, I guess.
So, yeah, and there is like there's a lot of awkward dubbing in it, but
oh yeah,
that's not good. But so which actually I found out after we had already recorded our podcast, so I didn't mention this during it, that the dubbing was because it's a spaghetti western, which means it was made by an Italian. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those actors, like the main actors all spoke English, but a lot of those side actors were Italian and only spoke Italian. So they spoke their lines in Italian and were dubbed over in English.
Wow.
Which is why there's all that awkward dubbing. I found that out.
About as spaghetti as you can get.
I was watching a video on it, and like the main actors are all English speaking. That's their actual lines. No dubbing, and all their, the three main actors are great in the movie. Like their performances are great. Mm-hmm. And it is generally a very well put together and edited movie. One thing that I found that was, I think the pacing is a little weird with the movie. I think that was one thing that I thought was a little like off for me. Like some of the pacing was a little too slow for me.
I can understand that. Yeah.
In certain scenes, the slow pacing was really good. In other scenes,
Yeah, that final standoff, it holds you there for a long time. Just like, I think letting it build.
Like there's some of the opening scenes where you first get to know the characters, the pacing, there was slow pacing, and the slow pacing was really good. Mm-hmm. And it was more like the middle chunk of the movie where some of the pacing was a little too slow for me. But yeah, a lot of the pacing the slow pacing is really good at like building the tension and slowly building things, but especially that final scene.
Oh yeah.
But there's also a decent amount of pacing throughout it that was a little too slow for me, for my taste.
I can understand that.
Yeah. But
so what's my 12?
I'm going to say The Thing. I'm going to go back with the one I guessed before.
You're going to... Eventually you'll get it if you just keep going.
Okay, is it The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Nope.
No, okay. Is it... Where do you have Whiplash gone? Oh, Zodiac.
Yeah, there it is.
I forgot that I didn't guess that for you again, which I'm assuming it's that low probably for similar reasons to me, where it's like...
It's a great movie. It's just not something that I would usually be interested in. So, like, watching it once was enough for me. Yeah, yeah.
And again, like, the plot isn't anything that groundbreaking, really. The plot is, it's fine. So it's kind of... It's very well acted, yeah, but and edited and filmed and everything, but yeah. So next we have spot number 11.
Let's see here.
Yeah, this is where it really starts to get iffy for me.
Yeah.
So.
I'm tempted to take one of your cards and say The Thing, but I don't think I think you value horror a little bit higher than me, so I might need to wait a bit. But other than that, I don't know what could be worse in your eyes.
I'm very iffy on this one, so I part of me thinks I should put it higher, but I'm going to leave it where it is, just to give you a hint. Like, it's something that I kind of wish I put higher than it is, but yeah.
Let's go with Whiplash.
No, not quite. Well, probably shouldn't say that, but so no, it is actually Evil Dead 2. Which I'm very iffy on because I think that movie is hilarious and entertaining. But it's also, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's just like, I don't know. I don't really know why I put it there. Just because I guess it's like hard to, like, it's, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I had to make a choice and I made a choice, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we can just mark it down to it's a horror comedy, which the horror ends up getting lost in the comedy a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, and like if you look at the movie from like a traditional filmmaking standpoint, a lot of it's really weird. In like just the randomness of things, and you're like, what? But it's, I mean, that's kind of the point though too. So it's like, yeah. So that one I was very iffy on. I somewhat wish I'd put it higher, but that's where it's at right now. So
right.
That one was so hard to put because it's like, I don't know. It's not like a good movie in the traditional sense of what you would consider a good movie, but it's like, but it is a good movie. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
It's one of those movies where like,
it's just so bizarre.
Seriously, it might have been really good, but they didn't, and so it's just really funny and entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, so that's where it hadn't ended up being. So, so this is 11, right? Yeah, number 11. I'm gonna say, let me look at all these for a second here. Oh, I'm gonna say The Thing again. Yeah, that's right. I'm still got that going.
There we go. Finally got it. Third time's a charm.
All right. Yeah, which I think again comes down to just you're not being as into horror.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Because that movie is like a straight horror, where it's like, okay, so like Evil Dead 2 technically is horror, but it's like horror comedy, so it's very different than that, which is very much a straight horror, where it's just, focuses on the horror. And it's the type of horror I like, where it's more psychological than just like gore and like killing.
I think if it was just a normal horror, like Alien or whatever like big horror movie there is, it would have been a lot lower for me.
Which just a regular monster?
Yeah. But this, it has all that psychological and like character interaction stuff that it brings it up, and even the horror is more directed at the characters rather than the viewer. Mm-hmm. So it's the kind of horror that I can definitely get into, but it is horror.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was spot 11, right? Yeah. So what do you think is my number 10?
Let's see here. Oh boy.
Yeah, I feel like there's a certain point where you just have to start making a guess, because it's like it just gets everything so close where it's like, just pick something. Damn.
You know what? I have 3 that I'm thinking of right now. I'm thinking, no, you'd put this one higher than that one, because, I'm trying to figure out your differences in what you value in movies. So, like, no, you would value this stuff that this thing does more than that.
Yeah, it's so hard to do. Jeez.
You know what? Why don't I just go with the Thing, too?
We're at 9, right?
We're at 10.
10. Oh, yeah. No.
Is this one Whiplash?
Yes.
So close.
So when I first watched Whiplash for the first time, I would have rated it higher, because I was like, I still really like it a lot, but I remember not being as into it the second time I watched it. Like, I'm still really into it, but I mean, it's, for what it does it very effectively.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah, you could definitely tell it's a very like low budget indie kind of movie feel to it, compared to a lot of the other ones. I mean, it's a Blumhouse production, so it's definitely low budget. Like all, so the Blumhouse is a studio. They pretty much just take on they take on random independent creators and just kind of go like, give them a low budget and see what they can do. So most of the
thank you for the explanation. I needed it.
So most of the Blumhouse production movies end up being, they're known for making a lot of low budget horror movies, and most of which end up sucking. But it's like, because they kind of just bet on like random creators, like give random like creators a chance or whatever. There's occasional times where they end up with something that turns out really good.
Right.
So it's kind of a crapshoot with them, where it's like, okay, a lot of their stuff is just kind of crappy independent horror movie, like cheap horror movies. But then occasionally you get something that's actually really good. And because of, and that launches the career of a great filmmaker, because, Damien Chazelle went on to direct like La La Land, which, is a really good musical, and like was, I think won some Oscars and stuff. I don't think it won Best Picture, but like it was nominated, and like, so it was actually, so it is actually cool to see like that this was his start, was, a Blumhouse like low budget, movie.
He just won the lottery with his idea in this one studio.
And one thing I found out about this movie though is that there's a lot of like people who are like super into like music and stuff have pointed out some like issues with the music stuff, like the inconsistencies of like the music stuff. But like, if it's like one of those things where it's like, if you know a lot about something and a movie has that in it, you're gonna judge it, like, like people I know, like some of my brothers know a lot about guns and stuff, so in every movie they're like, oh, that gun can't do that gun's like that, oh, that's not how that gun works.
It's a clip, not a magazine, get it right.
Well, it is a magazine.
I don't know. I know shells. I know whatever.
Yeah, but
I don't get any of it right. So
and so like I'll be watching it, and they'll just be like, "Oh, they should not be able to do that with that gun. That wouldn't."
They've already
I'm
fired
like,
6 shots. That's a 6 shooter. It doesn't fire anymore. Stop it. No, that's a 7th. Stop. What are you doing?
It's like so. Yeah, so I guess with Whiplash, it's like a similar thing, but for like music people, where they'll be like, "Oh, that wouldn't be like that," but like it's not like horrible, but like there's definitely like some little things that are like off with it, I guess. But as somebody who knows nothing about music, I really like it. The music sounds good, and it's intense enough. So to me, things seem consistent enough. So, yeah. And J.K. Simmons is just great. But
in this, J.J. Jameson and Cave Johnson.
Omni-Man, you haven't watched that though.
No, I should at some point.
Yeah. Maybe we could do that. I'll talk about that on the podcast. That'd be good.
That's
although usually we do TV shows that are like completed, so we can like watch it as a whole. You know.
So there's going to be more seasons, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're definitely renewed for a second season, and then I don't know beyond that. But yeah,
something to consider.
Yeah.
All right, my number 10, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta guess your number 10. Okay, so this is gonna be hard. Oh geez. Okay. Oh. Ooh. You know what? I just noticed that this is still on there, and this is one that I've already ticked off the list. So you know, I'll go with it. I mean, not that our lists are going to be the same, but I'm going to go with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
You would be correct.
Yes. Look at that. A good guess. So yeah, because at this point, we're pretty much getting almost everyone wrong. It's like we started out so strong. We're getting every single thing right.
Yep.
I think
we have the same list for the most part, basically.
The bottom 4 was exactly the same for us.
Well, yeah, because they're all either terrible or just kind of meh.
Yeah, that was pretty easy to get. All right. That was a good guess. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think basically because of the reasons that you said, right? Like, it's a good movie. It's a classic. It does pacing well in a lot of places and some not too well. But it's just, yeah, I watched it. I'm glad I did. And I can move on with my life.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Like, I'll rewatch I feel like it's a movie where, like, I would go and find, like, the really good scenes that I like and rewatch them. Like, I would go and, like, rewatch the final scene because it's so great. It's so awesome. But like I'm not dying to like rewatch the entire, like it's a decently long movie too. So like I'm not dying to like rewatch the whole movie. Like I would definitely rewatch it, but it's not like something I'm like gonna want to rewatch often, you know. Yeah.
All right.
We have spot 9.
This one is probably The Thing.
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny because last time you said The Thing, and I go, "Are we talking about number 9?" Which is The Thing, and you're like, "No, number 10." And I'm like, "Oh,
I fucked up."
So I kind of gave it away.
Yeah, you did a little bit.
Yeah.
I probably would have guessed that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I really love the movie, but you know, I definitely think I like horror more than you do.
Yeah.
But it's still not my favorite like genre. It's still not like, you know, I'm still not as into it as some people are.
Oh yeah.
You know, so, but as far as horror, this is probably one of my favorite horror movies though. For sure. I don't know if it is my favorite, but it's definitely one of my favorite easily. Like it's up there. I'd have to think about it, but
yeah.
But yeah,
because
I really
it like strays away from a lot of the usual horror tropes that like people who aren't huge fans of horror wouldn't like the jump scares and all that.
Well, I really like psychological horror.
Mm-hmm.
And this really does that well because it's less about a scary monster and more about the just paranoia and the
who can you trust?
Yeah, which is much more interesting to me than just there's a scary monster that that's trying to kill all of us. Because yes, there is a scary monster that's trying to kill all of them, but it's the way it does it is more. It makes it more interesting.
It's in a slow-paced way that, full well you can fight it off if you get the chance to.
Right. If you're able to spot it, if you're in a group of people and you're able to spot it, you can easily take it out. Yeah. But it's a matter of actually doing that. And whenever anyone's alone, I'm like, oh no.
That's something it does very well. The idea that you are never safe.
One thing I want to point out, which I don't think we mentioned in that episode where we talked about it, there's a scene early on in the movie where you see the dog. So obviously we know the dog is one of the aliens, and you see the dog walk up to a room and you see somebody's shadow, and the dog walks into the room, implying later on that whoever was in the room is was probably attacked and became one of the aliens, killed, whatever. Turns out the person that's actually casting the shadow is not any of the actors. It's either it might have been either the director or somebody else who's working on it. They did that on purpose. They the director doesn't even know who that person is technically supposed to be, because the whole idea is that it's you never know, because there's all these
okay.
So it's just interesting. So there's all these theories online everywhere of people who was an alien at what point and stuff, but technically there's no official answers to any of that.
The idea is that it's always vague and you can't know. Yeah.
Even down to the final scene where it's the creator of the movie doesn't even know whether either of them, the two survivors, are the alien or not. So it's so the paranoia is still there. So I don't know. That's just an interesting thing I wanted to point out.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. But anyways, while we were on the topic,
number 9.
Ooh, this is where it gets really hard, I think. You know what? I'm gonna go with Evil Dead 2.
You'd be right.
Yes. Okay. I think. Yeah. Any want to get into why, or is it similar to what I was saying, or?
Honestly, it's very enjoyable to watch. It's very funny, but it is a kind of thing of the horror gets lost in it, which is somewhat of a plus for me, because I don't really like horror, but I don't know.
Well, one thing I will say is it's a movie where realistically you don't get anything out of it other than just ridiculous hilariousness and maybe a little bit of horror and stuff.
Yeah,
some of the other movies might be really thought-provoking, or might be I don't know, make you think about things, or might be very intellectual or interesting. This movie's not at all. This movie's just pure entertainment, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just gags upon gags.
Yeah.
Even in its weird, slightly horror stuff of when everything in the room starts laughing and moving at the guy and he starts laughing along with it. Even that is creepy as hell is done in a way that's kind of funny.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Bruce Campbell's acting is just amazing. I love it. It's over top in all the right ways. It's a performance that would be so easy to do badly, but he pulls it off so well.
Mm-hmm. Give me back my hand, you bastards.
Yep.
Or just him bouncing up and down with the desk lamp.
Yes. So that was number 9 we just did? Yes, number 9.
On to number 10.
What? Or 8, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
because we're working backwards. Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know.
The only reason I'm gonna say this one is so low is because it really, like, it does a lot of things pretty well and some things are really good, but one character really carries it. But I think that's its crutch, is that only the one character is exceptionally good, and that's...
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's The Dark Knight.
No. Nope. It's actually... Again, these are all hard decisions to make. Mad Max Fury Road.
What?
Which I really love.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a movie where I feel like I don't get a whole lot out of the overall, like, plot and characters. Like, the plot is... It's definitely, to me at least, it feels like a very style over substance movie, which is fine. That's the point. And it's... The style-wise, it is amazing. Probably stylistically, it might be the best out of all of them.
I mean, there's a truck with a guy strapped to it that is just playing the electric guitar the entire time. Like, that is style.
Right. It's definitely a style over substance movie, which is kind of, you know, I feel like from what I know about the Mad Max series is kind of the... I mean, this is the only Mad Max movie I've seen, but it's kind of the general thing, right? Mm-hmm. But, yeah, beyond that, I don't really have much more beyond that. I mean, again, this is so... There's a point on this list where everything is great, and I love everything. So...
And we're pretty damn close to that point.
Yeah, exactly. So all of these are so close to each other. So, you know... But, yeah, that's what yeah. So that's number 8. I guess I'll choose your number 8. Mm-hmm. So definitely not Mad Max Fury Road, because you seemed very like, what about me? Definitely not that. So you were talking about The Dark Knight and how it's, you know, I'll say The Dark Knight. I'm just going to make that guess.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I mentioned it, but like... I think the worst thing about it that really brings it down is just Batman. Like, not Bruce Wayne, but Batman in general. It's just like... Well,
I mean, Batman's voice is...
Yeah, it's horrid.
It's rough. And... Yeah. I can definitely see that. I just think, I can definitely get that.
Like, the Joker, like, fixes that and goes beyond that and gets it right up to this spot, and the overall movie is pretty good.
And I think generally all the characters are really good. Yeah. Again, like you said, the only one that's a little awkward is Batman, not Bruce Wayne, but when he's Batman,
right,
he's a little awkward, and it's mostly just probably the costume is a little awkward, and so the movements are awkward, and the voice is awkward, and it's like, yeah, no, I can see why you would put it there. Yeah,
just all that just made me enjoy it just a little bit less than the 7 others above it.
Yeah. But I think all the actors are great, and then the characters, like I think even like Two-Face, for instance, was done really well. Like every character is overshadowed by the Joker, but every other character, like, so a lot of people don't talk about like the other characters in this movie as much, but like, like the way Harvey Dent's storyline in this movie is done really well. Yeah. And like how he falls and everything. Like it's, but I can see where where it gets put a little lower because of the, I can see that.
Number 7.
7. Yeah, this is also, again, like I said, really hard.
Let's see here.
In a way, it almost gets easier as you go, too, because you end up having less options to choose from as we go.
That is true.
I feel like we should have been keeping a tally of how many times we got it correct, so we could have a competition. But we haven't been doing that, so it's too late at this point.
Who cares at this point?
Maybe I'll listen when I'm listening to the podcast back. Maybe I'll keep track and then like tally it. Like,
oh yeah,
1 point, and then at the end I'll be like, I'll have a little recording where I'll be like, I had this many points, you had this many points. Here's the winner.
It doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter. No, yeah, it doesn't matter.
We didn't gamble anything on this.
We win the satisfaction of winning.
Let's see here. Should I just go with the Dark Knight again? Let's just go with the Dark Knight again. Why not?
No. Which, again, like I might think about shifting these partially, but yeah, again, all them are close. But this was a very difficult choice, but I ended up putting the Terminator 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Terminator, they're really good action movies. And they have, well, the first one's more horror-esque. The second one especially is a really good action movie. And they do a good job at handling the time travel aspect. Now, that is one thing I will say. Time travel in general is something that is hard for me to like.
Yeah, it just gets so overly complicated so fast.
Now, these movies do a really good job at handling it. But the fact that it's even there is a little, like, off, throws me off a tiny bit sometimes. But, but they do kind of the closed loop kind of thing where it makes sense. So I'm okay with it. Where it makes more sense, at least. It doesn't really make sense, but it's like, you know, better than like how it's handled in like Doctor Who or something like that. Where nothing makes sense.
Have a lot of angry people from that one phrase.
Okay, Doctor Who has a lot of great fun episodes. But the time travel is confusing as all hell, makes no sense whatsoever in that entire show. It is nothing makes sense with the time travel.
Go ahead.
The best
digging your grave. Just go on.
What I'm going to say is the best episodes of that show are the like more episodic episodes that don't have to do anything with the overall plot and are just they travel to some time period or on some place and some crazy alien thing is happening and they have to find a way to stop it. Like the ones that don't have anything to do with the overall story, those are the best episodes because they don't get too confusing.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, that's what I went with. Again, very difficult choice, but yeah. So
7.
I'm gonna guess. Ooh, okay. Out of these 7 that are left, this is so hard to choose. Oh, I'm trying to think because we have a few movies that are like. So we have some action movies left. We have a few movies that are not action movies but are more dramas, and I just don't know like what you would. Oh, this is so hard. This is like I'm gonna have to go with the Truman Show. This is so hard. I don't know.
Wow, I'm shocked you got that right.
Yeah. Yes. I was so hard to decide on.
Yeah, that was pretty good though. Yeah, the Truman Show, it does what it does very well. It has the acting in it is like really good as far as I can tell, at least just because everyone in it is actors, so they act like they're acting, which is great. And even Truman, who like isn't acting, but he's lived in that world, so he thinks that's just how people act. And like all of that is portrayed within the acting, like all those layers.
Yes.
So it's really good. But it's once again just something that I wouldn't normally watch, I don't think.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah. So I guess move on to spot number 5. No, 6. 6 is next. I know it gets really hard at this point.
Yeah. Oh, let's do.
I mean, it's been hard for the whole thing, actually, but.
Should I do third time's a charm? No, it won't be right.
Go for whatever you're thinking.
I have 2, maybe 3. Let's... You know what? You did third time's a charm with the thing. I'll do it as well. So I'll say The Dark Knight again.
Not quite. I mean, I ended up, again, this is so hard. I ended up going with Die Hard.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it does what it does very well. As far as, it's probably one of my favorite action movies of all time. Just from a pure action standpoint, it's probably up there.
Did Carl ruin it for you with his immortality?
No, I honestly don't even care that much about that. 'Cause that's just such a small thing at the end. I'm like, at that point, the rest of the movie was great. Other than that, that's just kind of weird. But I don't know. It's kind of arbitrary at this point. It's like, this is just what I decided.
Yeah, just roll the dice and figure it out.
Yeah, pretty much. So
they're all great. I can't choose. Just do it for me.
Pretty much. So yeah, that's what I ended up going with. I'm gonna have to guess for you. Holy heck, this is hard. You know what? I'm going to make the assumption that you value action more than drama, potentially, and say The Shawshank Redemption. That's probably not right, but...
So... Actually, we were having similar thoughts on this. I also put Die Hard.
Haha, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Any specific reason, or just because you had to choose?
It's a great movie. Having to choose is a big part of it. But,
like, I don't know.
I felt like there was a reason, and now I just had to choose.
Yeah, that's kind of how it went with a lot of these.
It was 1-6.
Yeah. All right. Let's see how it is.
They're just way too close at this point.
Yeah, honestly. Okay, number 5.
I can't do Dark Knight again. I will go with... Oh. Let's do Truman Show.
You should have gone with Dark Knight again, because it's number 5.
I knew that was going to happen. I was just like, the moment that I don't pick it, it's going to be there.
Well, it's like, if you keep guessing the same thing over and over again, you'll get it eventually, you know?
Yeah, but I knew it was going to be the moment that I didn't pick it.
Well, so when you were guessing The Dark Knight for the number 6 spot, I was actually, like, The Dark Knight and Die Hard were very, very close for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so close that I was, like, almost did that. But, nope. It's there. Yeah. I mean, again, I think that the main thing that throws me off in that movie is probably the same thing for you,
Yeah.
Batman's voice just kind of throws me off. Everything else is great.
They could have just did it in an audio booth and, like, dubbed it over with a little voice filter, and it would have been better.
They could have done something different.
Uh-huh.
Because in a lot of the shows, other versions of Batman, like in like the animated shows and stuff, like all he like talks, he changes his voice to be slightly lower, like just talks lower, but he doesn't. But it's not. But it's to a point where it sounds fine. It's not like. You just showed that this town's ready to believe in good. Like it's not. Yeah. I just. It's frustrating because it's like everything else in the movie is so excellent that it's like, how did they let that happen?
Mm-hmm.
How did anybody go? Like, how did Christopher Nolan hear Christian Bale's voice doing that and go, yeah, do that. Okay, good. Good job.
You think they wanted to tell him, or like they did tell him and he just didn't listen? Like, nah.
Now, from what I can remember, so obviously this is technically the second movie in a trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Batman Begins. From what I remember, it's not as bad in Batman Begins, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it, but like the voice isn't quite as bad in that movie, I think. And then like
went wrong.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just as bad, and I just remember it differently. But my memory's a little fuzzy sometimes. So, but yeah. So, anyways. Might as well move on. Stop beating a dead horse. I have to say, oh my gosh, I don't know. You know what? I'll go with Terminator 1 and 2. Because why not?
You had 1 and 5. Or honestly, it's more like 1 and 3 or 3
yeah,
or
there's
2.
A few where I'm like, those are probably the top. Yeah. So kind of like 3 that I'm like.
Yeah. I actually picked Mad Max.
Okay. Yeah,
like,
that's
a very fun movie to watch.
Yes.
But it's just action, basically. It's really good style, really good action. But then,
there's not much more to it.
Yeah. It's the kind of movie you want to watch when you just want to turn your brain off and watch something really cool.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, style over substance.
Yep.
Just happens to be a really fucking awesome style.
Yeah, like really good. The guy is strapped by bungee cords to the front of a truck playing an electric guitar with flames shooting out around him. Like,
come on.
You don't get much cooler than that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Number 4.
Right. Let's see. 1 of 2.
2? I wonder.
Yeah, it's almost like
There's
the
4.
top 2 are pretty obvious. Or at least, I mean, maybe their position within those 2 is a bit hard, but I'm gonna go with Truman Show.
You are correct.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I put Truman Show above a lot of the other action movies because I feel like I've noticed I tend to value like really good drama over action more than I used to.
Yeah.
And this is, as far as that goes, this is like really good, and it's such a unique idea for a story, and it's done as well as you could do that idea, and like the emotional moments hit so well in this movie, I think, and it is probably the best Jim Carrey performance I've ever seen. I haven't seen a lot of it. There's a decent amount of his performance movies that I haven't seen, but from what I have seen, like it's probably his best.
Right.
Because he's able to balance sort of the over the top kind of nature of himself, of his acting, with the realistic drama so well.
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I can't imagine another actor doing this. He does it so well.
I mean, he really fits with the part of, like I said before, the guy who thinks acting is normal, is a normal way of acting.
Yeah. And the emotion, again, like the emotional moments where he's like, or that he has, his acting is so good that it like really intensifies it. Like those moments where he's like, he's on the boat trying to escape and he's like yelling out like, "You're gonna have to kill me," and then like there's just like his slow descent into madness where he's just starting to freak out about everything. Like so good, so good. But yeah. Anyways, I have. Again, 2 options, 1 out of 2 here.
I know, imagine that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with. Ooh, this is hard too. Terminator 1 and 2.
You had a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
And you missed it.
I was.
It's Shawshank.
Yeah. I think you definitely value action more than drama, just a little bit. Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like it's a mix.
Yeah, it really depends. Because like Mad Max, like that's just pure action. But Terminator has some drama mixed in there. And I think that's a very good balance. But the Shawshank is pretty much just drama.
Yeah.
And it's a very good movie. I find it very entertaining. I enjoyed watching it. It's just, I don't know, it just falls a little short from just the pure entertainment you can get from an action movie. Yeah,
I can definitely see that. I mean, we might as well move on to number 3. I mean, we kind of know. Just say what you're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the Shawshank.
Yes. It's number 3 for me. Yours is Terminator.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so I mean, I think Shawshank is one of those movies that it's labeled as one of the greatest movies of all time on a lot of lists, and it's very easy to see why. Like it's just so well. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just really well made, and I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about it at the moment. You know, if you want to hear me talk about it more, we can, go back and listen to that episode. But yeah. And do you have anything to say about yours, which was Terminator?
Yeah, it's just, I definitely like the second one better.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. But it has a really good balance of that drama and action that I really like. And, like there's the drama of, it's getting you to think a little bit, consider all your options, piecing together what little bits of time travel they have in there, which isn't much by any means.
Yeah, they don't overdo it.
Yeah, but then the action brings it all together with just, turn your brain off for this and just watch shit explode.
Yeah.
It has that very good balance.
It does a really good job at building the relationship between the Terminator and John Connor. Like they kind of develop this kind of, so that way when he has to like go down into kill, basically destroy himself, it's like a really sad moment.
The robot wants to cry.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is actually sad. Now that I'm like thinking back on it, I almost want to put that higher than I did, like only slightly higher, like a couple spots. But I mean, it's too late at this point. Again, they're all pretty much equal. A lot of these are pretty much equal, but in my mind, but it's like
now, the last two, I think are going to be the same for both of us.
So both of us, obviously the only two left for both of us is Lord of the Rings and Fight Club. So which one do you think what do you think is my ranking of these two?
I mean, I think we're the same, right? But also, it's just they are so close, and they're such different movies
very
that
different. Yeah.
comparing them is very difficult.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I think Fight Club has to be number one.
Yeah, that's for me. I'm guessing that's for you too.
Yep.
So Fight Club number one. I don't know.
It's just right there, so close, but
yeah, not quite. Well, Lord of the Rings is easily the greatest movie trilogy of all time. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
The only things that even come somewhat close might be like original Star Wars trilogy, or like, I don't know. There's definitely others that I can't think of at the moment, but other really good trilogies out there. But Lord of the Rings is like, there's no competition. It's the greatest movie trilogy of all time.
Yeah, I mean,
and I cannot rank the 3 Lord of the Rings movies. I cannot. Every time I think, oh, I kind of like Fellowship of the Ring a little bit more than the others. Oh wait, no, I don't, because no. But I kind of like no. I try to, but I'm like,
like the reason
it's basically one long movie. Yeah,
exactly. That's what makes it such a good trilogy. It's just there is no separation between the 3 because they're all just like so good in their own ways.
There is a very clear like separation between them where it's like, okay, where the first movie and the second and the third, where you can very easily it makes sense where they chose to like separate them into 3 movies. Right. How it may. I mean, obviously there was 3 books, so but it's just, yeah. I mean, and a large part of that is due to the fact that they were all filmed at once. Most of the time when you make movies, you film one, you go through the production, it comes out, and then you start working on the next one as like a separate thing. But these were all
the same actors or the same director or anything.
Well, you'll probably get the same. A lot of times you would end up with the same actors, but even if you have the same director, still it's just it's a completely separate like production. It's a separate it might be a few years, or like all of Lord of the Rings was filmed as if they were making one really long movie. In one long span of time. I mean, the production for this took frickin' forever, but they were basically, everyone probably lived in New Zealand for at least a year or 2. So, but yeah, it's just amazing what they were able to pull off. It's something that like I don't know if anything like that will ever be pulled off again. It's just such
I don't know. It was such it was an idealistic thing to try to make 3 movies at once of just like this old high fantasy novel, and it came out great, like by a roll of the dice.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It is, easily the greatest like fantasy movies ever made. Like easily, there's no competition in that either. It's just so good. But I put Fight Club at the top because I don't know. Fight Club is just such a special movie to me. Like, it's just so.
There's experience you get with Fight Club is different than any other movie.
That's exactly. There's nothing you can compare it to. It is in a league of its own. Whenever I'm like, telling somebody about Fight Club, and I'm like, hey, you should watch Fight Club. It's a really good movie. Like, oh yeah, what's it like? What's it about? And I'm like, well, it's just
you
like
just can't, like, it doesn't conform to like any like set genres of the movie industry.
I don't know what the genre is. Like, I guess you could say drama, but not really. I mean, kinda. It's got aspect.
It's just, you go in hearing somebody talking about Fight Club. It's like, yeah, I'll finally watch Fight Club. What could happen? And you watch it and you're just like, what is this weird ass movie? What is going on? What is...
And then you get to the end and you're like, oh, everything comes together.
Yeah,
and you're like,
and it
whoa.
smacks you out of nowhere with this one little detail, and it all of the previous scenes come crashing back to you and like, oh, I get it now. I get all the weirdness. It all makes sense. Yeah. And then you're just riding that high for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. David Fincher, I've only seen 2 David Fincher movies, this and Zodiac, which we should definitely do more David Fincher movies, by the way. Mm-hmm. Like The Social Network and Seven and stuff, but
yeah, the Facebook movie.
But
Zuckerberg.
This is always, whenever I tell people like what my favorite movies of all time are, this is always like up there. I don't know if I want to say it is my favorite. It's hard to say, but it's definitely like up there.
Yeah,
so
it's so unique and so special that it's just
So perfect. When doing this list, I kind of knew these were going to be the top for both of us. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, I know what's going to be the top 2 and I know what's going to be the bottom 2.
Oh yeah, there was.
And I kind of knew what number 3 and 4 were going to be too. Like,
yeah, we had pretty good guesses at the very least.
Yeah, the rest of it was just kind of a crapshoot of like, I don't know.
Yeah, like they're all really good. Where do we put them? Like, how do we compare them?
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, so yeah, we're done with this list. We have ranked all of the 17 movies we've seen. If we do this again next year, it'll be even harder because it'll be more than 17 movies because...
Oh, yeah, because we started a few months after...
We started in March, so it'll probably be closer to like 20 movies by the time...
Oh, God.
Because we're not going to do like a ranking of like all the movies we've ever done on the podcast next year. We're not doing that because...
Maybe like all the top ones from each year, though. That'd be... a bit easier.
Oh, you could pick like the number 1 from each year.
Yeah.
And do a ranking. Or you could pick the bottom. You could do the top from each year and then the bottom from each year. Every year you just add more to that list and then...
Wow. That's an idea.
That'd be fun, yeah. You could do the same thing with the shows too if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. So yeah, that's about done with that. We don't really have much more to say about it. If I edit it to like say who won, I'll edit that in. I'll edit my voice in saying like, this person had this many right. This person had this many right. This is who wins. If I remember to do that, which I think I'll try to. But anyways, so this is editing Nim. During editing, I've been tallying up all of the score of how much points we each got. I guessed a total of 12 of the movies correct, and Cub guessed a total of 10. So I guess I win, Cub. Yeah. So I have the satisfaction of having the win. So there. What this means is that, I don't know, I win something. Nothing, actually, but there you go. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, anyone who, has supported the podcast in this past year. At the beginning of the year, I did not think I would end the year with a podcast, with 43 episodes of a podcast. So that's awesome.
We did a thing.
We did a thing.
We didn't drop it. We're still going.
We're still making it.
Yeah.
Still don't have a large audience,
but we
that's
didn't quit,
fine.
And that's what
we didn't
matters.
Quit. I mean, we are enjoying it a lot. So we'll definitely keep going with it. But yeah, thank you all for listening. Happy New Year. I hope everyone is having a good New Year, and I hope you have a good 2022. And thank you for listening to WABAN. There's multiple platforms you can listen to it on. You can listen to it on the YouTube. The WABAN YouTube channel, which should be linked in the description. You will also be able to watch gaming videos pretty soon. We're going to start doing those in the new year. The first week, I believe we're going to try like a twice a week thing for a little bit and see how it goes. So probably like Tuesdays, Thursdays, we're going to start by going through the Portal games. So look forward to that. Definitely check out the WABAN YouTube channel and subscribe to that so you'll be ready to see that. And we also have a bunch of audio platforms that you can listen to this podcast on. I can't find them. Where are they? I had the list up and then I went away from it and now I don't.
Just say where podcasts are found or something.
Where podcasts are found. Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public. Should be available on all those platforms. So whichever one works best for you, that sounds great.
Hey, I got a New Year's resolution for you. Why don't you condense this?
Condense the finale.
Down to like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. You know what? Sure. Anyways, you can listen to a new episode of WABAN every single Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is called NimTV. There should be a link in the description to that. I will hopefully be, actually completing my New Year's resolution, which is uploading a new video every month. So yeah, definitely check that out. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. I've been Nim.
And I'm Cub.
All right. Happy New Year. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye-bye.